Oh my gosh. A month. Hi guys, it's Carrie from Dispatches from the Frat House. Have you ever done this? So I'm working away at my May calendar and writing in the days that the boys don't have school in May. And all of a sudden it hits me like a ton of bricks. School is out in a month. 1 month! One short, tiny month. 1 month. 1 month. 4 weeks. Okay, so yeah, I may have panicked a little bit. A month, guys. School is out in a month. And it's just so much change for us all at once. Not just because we have so many kids. Liam's the only one not in school, so we have 6 boys in 4 different schools. But the end of hockey season is coming up shortly here as well. So not only do we have that, the end of hockey season, huge changes in Mike's schedule, but school ending, which means the kids will be home more. You know, a couple of them will be working over the summer and taking drive right and whatnot. But it occurred to me that with great changes come great changes. The way I plan things, I don't want to be caught off guard, at least as little as possible. I know there's going to be, some ways in which I'm not going to be able to help that. But, last summer I was using a desk size planner with a week on 2 pages. And for the bulk of the summer, that was perfect. The only times it got really unwieldy were the weeks during my parents' move because we were helping them at their house and, we inherited a bunch of stuff. So it was just a lot of moving furniture and packing and unpacking stuff, and it was chaos. So for those couple of weeks, the week on 2 pages, no matter how big they would have been, I don't think would have been satisfactory. But, I got looking at going back through my archive binder, and my pages from Christmas break, my pages from spring break, are just woefully empty with a day on 2 pages. So I'm trying to be a little bit ahead of the game and see how I'm going to want to have my stuff set up over the summer, because I think a day on 2 pages is going to end up being a lot of wasted paper, a lot of wasted space, and a lot of wasted decorating. I love, decorating them. I do it in little 5-minute pieces of time here and there. But you look at the pages over Christmas break and spring break, and they're pretty pages with nothing on them. So I am this week kind of trying a little experiment. I think I freaked a couple people out on Instagram when I put a little picture of it up yesterday. But I used the DIY Fish Midori Traveler's Notebook inserts to do all that blog planning and YouTube planning and analytics tracking and all of that. And so the pack is 4 months. So the current one is May through August. So it's called pack 5 through 8. And I thought this week I am going to keep using my 2 pages per day, because this week people are kind of coming and going a little bit. Their school schedules are all wonky right now because of ACT tests and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to do both, which I realize is overkill. But I want to see in a somewhat kind of busy week if using that Midori insert will work, because if it will, not having the schedule to work around as far as hockey is concerned and not having the school schedules to work around frees up a lot of space in my planner. So for a couple of months I might go to my Midori just because I'm not going to need all the space. But I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. Hence the trial run. So I'm trying a trial run this week just to see what'll happen. See, here's the difference between planning during the school year and hockey season and summer break and off season. That section on my pages that is the schedule, the actual times, my weekly calendar, and my monthly calendar, I rely on really heavily during the school year and during hockey season, because that helps me see what is overlapping as far as where I need to be when, like dropping people off, picking people up, because Mike's not around as much to help split some of that up. So I end up having to be really careful when I'm telling people, yes, you can go to, so-and-so's house, and yeah, I can pick you up, and okay, you have to work at this time, and I'm pretty much the only one doing that running during the hockey season. So I don't rely so heavily on that actual time-intensive portion of my pages because I don't need to during the summer. However, I always, every summer, end up going back to using something like it because usually about a month into summer break, 5 weeks into summer break, I start realizing how much of my own stuff I'm not getting done, and I start to feel very unproductive and lazy. And I know that's not the case. I mean, I have my moments, believe me, but I know I'm busy and doing stuff, so it does help me to have that where I'll write in real quick, from this time to this time, we took Liam to the park. From this time to this time, I was washing all the bedding. It's almost like my planning is flip-flopped during summer break compared to during school. A lot of the older kids, if they don't have to go to work, will sleep later in the morning. So I tend to get up very early some mornings and work until Liam gets up. So I've got time in the morning when nobody is up that it's very convenient for me to get some work done during summer break. Whereas during the school year, everybody's getting up early because everybody's trying to get out the door. And then later in the day, I tend to have some time either because the kids have come home and they can watch Liam, or because he's taking a nap and everybody else is at school. So with the whole day kind of flip-flopping like that, and with Mike being around a lot more, it just changes the way I have to plan everything. So I'm going to show you what I've done in the Midori, just to kind of, like I said, like a trial run. Let's just kind of see how it goes. I may have to add in an extra notebook for just those days that are very kind of writing heavy, because I just more and more don't have many of those days, just the nature of our schedule being what it is right now. So I may need to throw one of my extra notebooks in just for, those days that get, a lot of writing done. So let me know what you guys think. A lot of you had asked, what I thought about using that Midori insert to plan as a planner, and I had said at the time, I can't speak to that just because it's not how I'm using it, but now that I am, you guys can take a peek and see what you think. Okay, thanks. Take it easy. 1 month. Bye-bye. Okay, so here is kind of what the trial run for this has been looking like. It's just regular size Midori Traveler's Notebook, okay? And I just did last week and this week. Okay, so that's what that all looks like. So there would be my task list, any time-intensive things. I do write in, as I've shown you guys before, during the school year, when I'm dropping people off, when I'm picking people up, because the hockey season and the school year obviously run concurrently, and we have a lot of overlapping times. There are, really odd days where, oh, Mike can help run people, so I don't need to. So it helps me to have that stuff all written down. So during the summer break, I don't have that. Not to say the kids don't have stuff going on, but it's not repetitive stuff every day, and it doesn't overlap a whole lot. So I took all of my task stuff from last week and put it in here. Anything that was time intensive last week that was not a school schedule, like 7:30 drop off Jack, 2 o'clock pick up Jack, that kind of thing. Like, Hunter was going somewhere there and there, and Dakota had to work that night, Dakota had to work this night. Those I wrote in just because they're out of the norm, because that would be more of what would get written in there in the summer. And then my notes all went over on this page. Okay, so far for this week, this is what I have. And today started filling up a little bit. So if there was a bunch of time stuff, going on during the summer, time-intensive stuff, I would be a little bit out of space. My one concern about doing it this way is, like, you can see, I don't have a whole lot of notes written down between yesterday and today. We're doing a lot of cleaning, so there's not really a whole lot to write down. One of the issues I'm worried about is having the space when I do have a day in the summer where I write a ton of stuff, because that's where that 2 pages for a week on 2 pages, went really wonky for me as things started to get busier as we geared up towards school starting again last year. And here's my day on 2 pages. This is a good example. I had, getting this stuff in on this would be no problem. Okay, it's a couple of notes, not a big deal. And this, honestly, I wrote it here just because it was handy. Stuff like this always goes in my project pages in here anyway, because it was tech coding. So it's, that's neither here nor there, but that was space I maybe would not have written something on here, because it's going to go back here in my project pages. Like here, honestly, I filled up the space writing Liam as a no-napping punk, because I got nothing done on this day, really, because he just was kind of owly, but he wouldn't take a nap. So it was just kind of a Liam day, I needed to just be with him and pay attention to him. Wednesday was more of the same. I had one kid who found out he had a birthday party that Sunday to go to, and other than that, I also picked up a class, and that might be part of it, is, I have the whole syllabus and all that printed out, so I don't have as many tasks written in here because I don't need to write them in here because they're on the syllabus. So this would be the day that I would be worried about. A day like this in the summertime is going to get complicated really fast when I'm working with this much space. So what I'm thinking of doing is I have a couple of spare notebooks, and this would be a totally good reason or excuse to get another one of these lightweight inserts because I love it so much. Just for that overflow of stuff. I mean, I've got all this stuff written down, and it was stuff that I needed to write down. I have to have it. But after I fit all that in, you know, this was on a Thursday. Let's say I had all this written in for a Monday in this planner. Well, you know, that's going to eat up a bunch of space and leave me this much for the rest of the week. It is summertime. I may not need all that space, but I don't know. I'm one of those people, I'm always trying to find that sweet spot between having enough room to write and not having a ton of leftover space that's wasted. So I was thinking if I put just an empty notebook in here, kind of to serve as that brain dump lists, you know, overflow. If I fill up a page here, I didn't bind this like I do with my other notebooks. I left this completely unbound. So I could, you know, print an extra page and slide in here. But then what would get to me, and this is so type A of me, but, you know, here's this side of the week. This would be this side of the week. Let's say I filled this all up on Monday. And then so I just print, you know, like a set of pages like this and slide them in right here. It would bug me that the beginning of the week was on the back page and that the rest of the week would be written on the page that I inserted here and not the other way around. It's just me. So do you see why I'm giving this a trial run 1 month before school lets out? I don't want to get caught unprepared. It's not like the kids have never had a summer break before. You know, every summer break is different. They're all getting older. More of them will be working this summer than were last summer. You know, Liam is older than he was last summer. I'm going to be taking at least one class over the summer, maybe two. So I want to have this stuff as concrete as possible before things like that, you know, start to change for me. And then having Mike home more. He starts teaching soon, but we're not entirely sure when that's going to start. So that's going to change things as well. If that's, you know, depending on what that's going to look like and what his schedule is going to look like, I may be back down to being the only one, you know, driving kids around a whole lot, even if it is over the summer and we don't have the school schedules to work around. So I wanted to kind of play with this and see, and several people had asked about using this insert solely as their planner. I think it'd be perfectly fine. I did, you know, the people who asked, I told them that. I think it's a great insert. I love the way it's laid out. You know, it would just depend on how much room you want and how you want to organize your tasks and your appointments, how many appointments you have, and how you like seeing those appointments. You know, if you like seeing those appointments like this is what I was talking about earlier. I don't use this section a whole lot in the summer just because we don't have as many places to be on a regular basis. They don't have a regular school schedule. The boys' work schedules all vary. You know, they all work, you know, part-time retail stuff. So it varies from week to week. So having this, you know, I don't think I have another one. I don't. Having this during the hockey season, you know, I could fill in Mike's schedule over here, the boys' schedule over here, any of my stuff, like, you know, time-sensitive stuff. Most of my stuff is at the house, so it's not very time-sensitive, but, you know, appointments that I may have or meetings I may have, I can see very quickly where those things overlap or where Mike has a gap and might be able to pick somebody up so that I can schedule something that I need to do outside of the house at one of the schools or for a meeting, whatever. So during the summer, we don't have as much of that. Where I will utilize something like this in the summer is about a month and a half in when I start feeling like I'm not getting anything done, like I said before. And once I start keeping track for a couple of days of every last thing I did through the course of an entire day, I see real quick that it's just that I'm doing stuff with the kids and doing stuff for the kids. And that's why my stuff isn't getting done. And that's summer break. That's fine. So I don't know. I'm going to try this for a couple weeks and I will let you guys know. I love DIY Fish's inserts. I'm not going away from those by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just wondering if, you know, when I look at Christmas break and spring break in these planner pages, they're just so empty. I decorated them and then didn't really use them at all because we were doing other stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's not like I don't have my own stuff to get done, so I got to keep track of it somewhere. So if you guys have any questions or comments or suggestions or anything like that, you be sure to let me know. Alrighty? Thanks. Bye-bye.